It's like a recipe. If every ingredient were the same, it would not be anything. It needs to have flour, vanilla, salt, sugar, eggs, and all the different things that make it up in order to make a perfect cookie.
Yes, and pure unity is bliss, but it's also a state of not realizing the potential of what consciousness can become. Both states are essential to creation. Creation is a process. We are the process. Neither state is better than the other.
Yes, the key is an acceptance of all the states and variations in the circle of non-judgment. Letting the universe just manifest and flow, and stop judging the manifestations or the flows. No state is inherently better. Each is eternal. Each has its delicate, sublime beauty. There is a time and a place for every purpose under heaven.
That's sometimes difficult for so-called saints or yogis and those on the path of self-realization to accept. That's why non-judgmentalness is so important to understanding the ultimate reality. Judgments keep a person from realizing the perfect state of unity, from realizing the perfection of a puzzle, because people who like to judge are continuously separating the pieces of the puzzle into two piles, either good or bad, so the pieces can never come together to form a sublime picture of perfection. This never happens for these souls. They never see the perfection until they relinquish their judging of good or evil. That's probably why the masters always teach us not to judge, because it stops us from realizing the innate perfection of the primal self.
Yes, I guess it's at the core of a biological problem, I think. Because if you are an ascetic who is very strict with yourself, or withholding your desires, you will start to feel all too human and then become judgmental and resentful of all the other humans that are having what you perceive to be fun. Possibly self-denial is a masked form of judgment. When you deny yourself of any type of experience, you are saying that those experiences that you're denying yourself of must be somehow bad. And when you do that, you're forgetting the perfection of the puzzle, the perfection of every experience.
Yes, it's an easy trap, one of the obstacles on the path of self-realization.
Yogis who have regular lives and a daily practice and who are part of their community, but who are also not living like saints, are usually the most balanced people. You need to be balanced in order to be closer to your true primal self, because the true primal self is perfectly balanced. If you are closer to your true self beyond this physical universe, then you have something truly unique to offer humanity, the universe, and the one primal self, which you are.
Yes, and this may be difficult to believe, but yogis and masters who have fully realized the true self again, they can even eat meat, have sex, drink wine, like Jesus, and still remain in a state of complete realization. Those on the ascetic path of self-denial, they don't realize this until they do. Sometimes a soul may choose to be a complete ascetic, much like the Buddha did before he realized the state of enlightenment. After enlightenment, the Buddha then taught the middle path of balance and not asceticism.
Yes, the reason masters can eat meat and have sex, etc., is because they have overcome all addictions and have reached the state of non-desiring. Non-desiring means you don't deny yourself nor become attached to it. You just experience what comes and let it go. But those people like me who have not reached that state can easily fall back into forgetting when we are not somewhat ascetic.
If I have a huge plate of chocolate chip cookies, I usually find it difficult to just have one or two, because I'm attached to it. But a true master wouldn't. They'd enjoy it and then let it go. That is because we have not yet completely relinquished our desires and purged ourselves of non-attachment to pleasures.
Sex or energy explorations I would still do, because to me they're actually no different from a meditation or yoga, just using different chakras. sex uses the lower chakras, which are just as important as the upper chakras.
Exactly. But at this point, overdoing anything, any pleasures, can easily return one into a state of desiring again, a state of attachment. Being stuck in an addiction is a state of forgetting. Masters are beyond that falling back into attachments and habits and addictions until they choose to fall back into ignorance. They actually choose it at some point so they can forget the self and then re-experience the bliss of rediscovering the self again. For them, falling back into ignorance is a choice. It's not a reaction. I have come to see it exactly that way. We choose to forget the unity so we can continuously re-experience the bliss of oneness.
But masters would say that we're all masters.
Yes, we are all masters. We're masters who remember, and we're masters who forget.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. That's an interesting way to see it.
Yes, it is. I also have come to realize that it is essential that we each individually eventually see it this way if we are ever to arrive at a complete state of enlightenment and remembering.